Alright guys, I'm a little scared, but we're taking this YJ on 31s up Moab Rim. If you don't know what that is, well, you're gonna find out. But yeah, we've got some really good spotters with us. Do not do this if you don't have a good spotter, and do not do this one alone. I'm very serious about that. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight though, and I'm really excited to see what this thing can do.
You just heard from Liam, the on-camera personality. Now you get to hear from me, Liam, the editor. We are driving this 1994 YJ up Moab Rim. We're doing so in the evening time. You did hear that correctly, because we've been working at the 4x4 Expo all day, and the only time we have for the trails is going to be in the evening and late into the night. This trail had me pretty nervous, as this Jeep is, quite honestly, probably not properly equipped. However, you'll see this Mahindra here teetering on a rock. That is Greg Henderson with unofficial use only. Greg has done this trail a zillion times and knows it like the back of his hand. He will be guiding us tonight and making sure everyone gets all the way up and all the way back down in one piece. This Jeep here is called Mar1. This Jeep was built by our trail guide, Mr. Greg Henderson, for Anthony, and he's a ton of fun to wheel with. We've had a couple trails together at this point, and they have a lot of fun poking fun at my not-so-capable YJ. Well, they've earned every right to do so, as you can watch Anthony drive Mar1 right up this obstacle with really not a lot of challenge at all. I'm just so impressed by the capability of this Jeep and how well-rounded it really is. I think that can be accredited to Greg and his great building ability, and Anthony as he's learning to become a pretty competent wheeler. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Up next is my rival for least likely to succeed. We have Jake in his flat fender. This flat fender is known throughout the internet as the one with the vise on the front. You can see that he put a vise on the front, and people on Instagram seem to think that that was pretty cool. Not sure if it gives him much more ability while wheeling, but it does seem to have this cool utilitarian look to it. Of course, he just rockets right up the Devil's Crack and has no problem whatsoever, which is going to make me look really great when you'll see. It's always a good sign when coming up to the obstacle you throw tires in the air on what is considered by most other wheelers on the trail as not an obstacle. With that in mind, we're going to come up to the large crack that is next to a cliff, which if you fall off of, you'll land on a highway and then, you'll land on power lines and then a highway and then the river. Greg's going to get me lined up for the kill at the best of his ability, but you'll notice that I don't have lockers. I do have a limited slip in the rear, but for some reason I could not use the brakes enough to get it to act like a locker and help me get up this obstacle. Now, the front axle is completely open, which really is doing me no favors here at all.
Up or push down? I'm going up. Way better video content. Going forward. I'm going forward. No, you're good. Easy. Did you guys pop the track tires off it yet?
I don't think so. It needs a lot of work.
When you come forward, three set right back down. Go a little bit more. More.
Because most of you watching this channel are interested in the goofy little Supercharged YJ, I'm going to allow this clip to marinate longer than I normally would when editing an action sequence. So you can see me trying and trying again to get up the Devil's Crack for future reference when you have a YJ on 31s and you think maybe I should attempt this trail. The answer is, well, with the right spotter, sure, but generally I would recommend against it.
Back up just a touch. Stop. Turn towards me just a touch. Come into it.
Also keep in mind that I have no regard for the safety of my frame.
Yeah!
But the front end's up. Belly's not. Yeah, that was one of the next street.
Yeah, it's on the center.
Okay. Now we pull out your rear winch.
Maybe I could have hit it with more speed. Maybe I needed lockers for that. I'm sure anyone behind their computer could tell me all of the things that I did wrong here, but the safest option was to just use the winch and get up through the rest of the trail. I'm going to count that as a win, because I made it. Huzzah, little red YJ. Good work. This clip is a little confusing here. As you can see, Jeeps are driving the wrong way. So Moab Rim is an out and back trail. It's not one where you can drive all the way through. If you go up, you have to come down.
Yeah, okay. Yep, okay, now turn driver a little bit and you're gonna drop down on this incline right here. All right, driver, okay.
You can see Mr. Bread here playing spotter. We learned on this trip that he may not be the best spotter to have, and that should have been obvious as this is one of the first times he's seen a trail anything like this. So that's not a bash on Bread, that's just more on me trusting someone who's never seen the trail to give me advice. He does a great job here at this part of the trail, but later on we decided that we would take advice from other people who knew a little bit more about these goofy red rocks.
Keep going. Okay. You might want to back up a little bit and resend it. You're gonna drop. Okay. What? Smooth into it and then bump it. Woo!
Love this clip because the camera is facing the wrong way. We get a rare glimpse into the face of Mr. Bread until he realizes how the camera is supposed to work. I can feel the comments rushing in now about tire pressure. You can see here that my tire pressure is arguably way too high for a trail like this. I went to put the tire pressure down to 10 psi. I used the cheapest tire pressure gauge I had available. I later realized at the end of the week that I was actually more realistically running around on 15 psi, which is just disgustingly too much pressure for these trails. Coming down off this obstacle, you're going to see something that was basically the theme of the week, this stupid trailer hitch that was seized to my frame. I scraped it on just about every rock in Moab and left my mark. By the time the week was over, the trailer hitch had found the weakest part of the rusty frame and severed it completely off. This obstacle here is called the Z turn because you have to, well, make a turn that kind of looks like a Z. This, I would say, is probably the scariest obstacle on the trail. It may not be right next to the cliff edge like the Devil's Crack is, but this is where most people are going to roll over if they're going to roll over on this trail. You can see that Greg is having really no trouble at all with his little Mahindra. A little bit of backing up here and there because after all, it's called the Z turn for a reason, but he just crawls right on up. Mar 1 is going to be more of the same. This Jeep is just so perfectly built for this environment. It's just impressive to watch. The longer wheelbase of the TJ Unlimited, or LJ as most people call it, really grants him to have traction where he needs it, and man, I am quite jealous of this Jeep. Of course, the clip ends abruptly because the guy holding the camera, myself, for whatever reason, hit the stop button. So you don't get to see him complete the Z-turn, but I promise he did. Here comes Jake with his flat fender. He is the hero of the trail. We're gonna focus on him for just a little bit here as he tries all he can to get this rowdy, abusive flat fender up the Z-turn. We did have to throw a cable on him because it was not going to make it up the obstacle safely. Next, you're going to see a clip that is just way too dark because, well, the sun went down.
Hold on. Where you at? Get your seatbelts before I can see it. Okay, now you're going to turn. And you're going to drive up. You're fine so far. Keep going.
Everyone is a little tired of these not quite equipped Jeeps not quite making it up the rocks. So we decided pretty quickly that a winch cable was for me. This last clip, although very dark, is in fact, well, the last clip, because the limits of technology can only go so far in low lighting. So here's my Jeep struggling to get up a rock in the darkness, and there is the view from the top. A lot to be desired here. You miss a lot of really good fun stuff, but sadly there was just no good way to capture it. Also, we've got a couple of pictures of Jake who had to fix his flat fender since bashing it into a rock over and over again may cause the shackle to reverse itself, which it did. And after a few very sketchy moments, we did get it and it didn't hurt anybody. The rest of the trail is what you would have expected, dark, and the same thing in reverse. We got to the top here, the trail does continue, but we decided that we were done for the night. It's probably about 11 o'clock by the time we made it to the top. So we decided to go down the trail, and we all made it home. Well guys, thank you so much for watching my wildly incomplete video of the Moab Rim Trail. I hope you enjoyed seeing my YJ struggle to get up it, and I hope that you learned something today. Hopefully you get a chance to go out to Moab and run this trail, and hopefully you have a vehicle that is properly equipped to do so in a safe manner. Thank you again for subscribing and being a part of my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.